Okay. Now, this one, the reason this is in the warm-ups is because I will need you to read the directions. A lot of students just assume that it's a line or assume that it's an exponential. This one is very specifically telling you it's a line. Okay, so that means that my answer will be y equals mx plus b form. Notice this one has a really fun typo in it, but it clearly is trying to say exponential. So anyway, okay, so slope equals 2 minus -5 So 2 minus -5 over -5 minus 5. Two minus -5 is 7. And -5 minus 5 is -10. So my slope is -7/10. Please resist the urge to put that in a decimal. We don't do decimals for slope, but we can do decimals for y-intercept if it comes up. Okay, which one of those points do you want to use? -5, 2 it is. Okay, y equals mx plus b. 2 equals -7/10 times -5 plus b. Two equals, okay, now let's talk about how to multiply this. So you want to multiply the tops. So this becomes positive 35 over 10. And then I'm going to make this 3.5. Negative 1.5 equals b. Okay, final answer, y equals -7 over 10. My x, oh, I almost forgot my x. X minus 1.5. Any questions about that problem? Okay, this problem, number 11, is not on your quiz on Thursday, but number 13 is. So actually, number 11 was from chapter 2. So step 1, pretend you have equals. 140 equals -6 times -3n minus 7 plus 8. Okay, step 1, pretend that you have equals. And then solve. So 140 equals -18n plus 42 plus 8. Combine the 42 and 8 and make 50. Okay, does anyone have any questions so far about number 13? I'm not done, but any questions about what I did so far? This stuff is probably easy for you, that part, I'm hoping. Okay, now we have to decide, step 2 is we decide if it's open or closed at -5. And you take a look at the original problem. Is this open or closed? Open. Okay, pro tip, if you get an answer that's not on the printed number line, you did something wrong. The answer that you get should be on the printed number line. Any questions about that? Okay, step 3. We have to test something to see which way the arrow will go. What do you guys want to test? 0? Okay, so 0's over here. And you could test anything you want except -5, because that's not going to tell you where to put the arrow. But I like the choice of 0. 140 is greater than -6 times 3 times 0 minus 7 plus 8. Okay, so order of operations to do this first. So 3 times 0 is 0 minus 7. Is everybody okay with me going from here to here? Okay, now I'm going to multiply this. Okay, so what this means is I'm going to put a true at 0 where I plugged in and a false on the other side. And do I care about the answers or the non-answers? Answers, right? So I'm going to make my arrow go toward the true. And then I need to write a final answer. This is the thing that a bunch of you guys are going to forget. I love you so much to pieces, but there are going to be people in this class who do all of this beautiful work, draw this arrow perfectly, and then just move on to the next problem without writing the final answer. And it doesn't matter what I say because it happens every year. I don't know what to do other than to say, don't forget the final answer. Don't forget the final answer. Don't forget the final answer. Okay, but anyway, n is greater than -5. Okay. Any questions about that one? There is a problem like that one on your quiz. It's just like this one, basically. Almost exactly the same, just different numbers. Okay, now if you guys could please find the resource page that has number 53 on it. It says 4 and 8 at the top. We're not doing that immediately, but we're doing it in a minute. So just find this page and then scooch that off to the side and then set this up. Okay, here we go. Number 52. There's a problem like this on your quiz also. This is a review from Friday, so hopefully it won't be too bad. So step one, pretend you have equals just like all the inequalities problems. Y equals negative 5/3 x minus 3. And before I graph it, I need to decide if it's solid or dashed. Solid, great. Okay, so I start with the y-intercept of -3. And then I'm supposed to go down 5/3, but I can't because it's way off the graph paper. So instead, I'm going to go up 5 and back 3. Okay, let me say that again. I'm supposed to go down 5/3, but that's way off the graph paper. So I'm going to go up 5, back 3, and backtrack. Okay, now what point do you guys want to test? So we can test anything except for the points that I graphed. 0, 0. I always choose 0, 0 if I can because I'm lazy and also because my 0, 0 looks like a little owl and it makes me happy. Okay, so 0 is greater than or equal to -5/3 times 0 minus 3. 0 is greater than or equal to -3, which is true. Okay, so this is the part where people get confused. So I like to graph 0, 0, and because it's true, I'm going to put a little true there. That means that this whole side of the line is true, and this whole side of the line is false. And I always want to go where the answers are, which is where the true solutions lie, and that is here. So my arrow always goes toward the true. My shading always goes toward the true because those are the actual answers. We call this the solution set. I really like these problems because there's no algebra final answer. The final answer is the graph. Because we can't list an infinite number of coordinates. We could. I mean, yeah, I'm literally. Forever. We'd have to live forever too. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you guys could go back to that resource page, number 53, 4 and 8. One of the purposes of the United Nations is to have nations work together to help each other. Recently, the members of the UN decided to give grants to poor countries to help reduce poverty. However, the United Nations only has the resources to help those countries in the greatest need. Therefore, it was decided that only countries in which the number of people in poverty is more than 1/2 of its total population would receive foreign aid. Okay, hopefully this was like a little bit of foreshadowing. You know how like when you're listening to an audiobook or like a show and the killer is about to approach and they make this music and they're like, doo, doo, doo. That's what happened right there. Okay, write an inequality that represents the criteria to receive foreign aid. Let X represent the population and Y represent the number of people in poverty. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you guys to underline or highlight or whatever you have those words right there. Okay, so those are the words that are going to tell us how to write the inequality. Okay, so it says the number of people in poverty. What letter is that? Y. Usually it would be P, right? Okay, the number of people in poverty is Y. And then it says is more than. Okay, so then you look up at the crocodiles up there. More than is the greater than crocodile. One half of is times in word problems. What letter is total population? X. Okay, so we have Y is greater than one half X. The graph below shows the number of people in poverty per the population for each countries being considered for foreign aid. Carefully graph your inequality from part A on the graph below. What countries should receive foreign aid? Okay, step one, pretend we have equals. Y equals one half X. Okay, now for us, I'm going to add a +0 on there just so I can see what the y-intercept is. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go to 0, 0. Oh, cripes. I need to decide, is it solid or dead? Yeah, doesn't have the or equal to on it. Okay, so I started my line at 0. So this y-intercept is 0. And then the slope is 1/2. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Lots and lots of times. Remember to dash, Mrs. Talbot. Remember to dash, remember to dash, remember to dash. Okay, now this problem has an interesting twist to it. Can we test 0, 0? No, because it's on the line. We have to pick something else. Yes, Landon? Oh, wait. Do you want to pick something else? 5, 5 is excellent. That is an excellent point to pick because you can tell that it's definitely above the line and it has nice whole numbers. I really like that choice. Okay, so test 5, 5. And we go back up to the original, remember? So 5 is greater than 1/2 of 5. 5 is greater than 2.5. True. Okay, so I'm going to put a true next to the 5, 5 and a false on the other side. Okay, now my question is, which countries should receive foreign aid? I see 4 of them. Which countries? You Uganda, Madagascar. Oh, I don't understand that one. I feel like those animals with that movie should have made a lot of money. Alex the Lion, he's pretty popular. No one finds me funny. Melman is the best one. Yes, honey. Actually, I think Rwanda is on the line and the line is dashed, so no. But I think Honduras is right above the line. And then Zambia. Although I still, back to my argument, I think Melman is the best one. Do you guys know who Melman is? Yeah, and he's scared of everything, like germs. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now what I need you to do is flip this page over so that you can see the quiz review, because we're going to come back to that in a moment. And then slide this off to the side. Okay, so for 54, 55, we have some weird situations. Um, so these are not going to be on your quiz, 54 or 55, but they're still really good to go over because what happens if you get a strange situation? We need to know. Number 54 is actually exponential. The first step is always to pretend that you have equals. But how do we graph this? What I like to do is make a table and then sketch in the graph. So for an exponential, I'm not going to do slope and y-intercept. I'm going to make a table to help me graph it. Okay, so my start is 3. And then the multiplier is 0.8. So 3 times 0.8 is 2.4. Yep. And then 2.4 times 0.8 is 1.92. This will give me enough points to where I can sketch in the graph, but I do need to decide if it's dashed or solid. Dashed. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to go 0, 3, 1, 2.4, 2, 1.92. I can see the curves start happening. And then I just sketch my curve in. Okay, what do you guys want to test? Is 0, 0 an option? Yeah. Zero is greater than 3 times 0.8 to the 0. Okay, so we need to review our exponent rules here. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So this is 0 is greater than 3 times 1. 0 is greater than 3, which is false. It's about time we got a false. Okay, so I'm going to go to 0, 0 and make a little dot and put false. And then put true on the other side of the curve. And voila. Okay, anybody know why 55 is weird? What kind of lines are these? Yes, that's true. Okay, so we need to do a little bit of remembering from chapter 2. This is really long time ago. Yes. Okay, you're on the right track. Okay, so this one is y equals 3 when you pretend that you have equals. And this one is horizontal and solid. When it's y equals in the front, it's horizontal. And when it's x in the front, it's vertical. Excellent. Okay, we haven't done it in a while. So go to 3 on the y. Been a really long time. And then make your horizontal solid line. And I'm going to say test 0, 0. So this is the spot I'm going to test. It's not on my horizontal line at 3, so I'm fine. Except it's going to feel weird because I'm not going to plug x into anything. I'm just going to plug the y in. So 0 is greater than or equal to 3 is false. So that means it's false down here and true up here. Okay. Now B, this is x equals 2 when you pretend that you have equals. And this is a vertical dash. Great job. And you go to 2 on the x. And you definitely remember to dash it with your flare pen. That's completely looks weird if you have to put uh whiteout marks in between to make it look dashed. Not that I've experienced this at all in the past. Okay, and 0, 0 is fine to test because it's not on my dashed line. So again, it's going to feel a little weird because I'm just going to plug into the x and not the y also, but that's okay. 0 is less than 2, which is true. So I'm true to the left of the dashed line and I'm false to the right of the dashed line. Okay, and then draw number 56, and then we're almost done. Then we'll talk about the quiz topics and start you on the quiz review. Okay, on this problem, we're going to go backwards. So we have the answer. We're going to go backwards to what the inequality is. And this one's a line. Can you guys all tell that it's a line? And it's dashed. Yes, honey. Not on the quiz tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to write y equals mx plus b here, and I'm going to build off of this. So this is what I'm going to start with. I can tell it's a line, so I'm going to start with that. What is b in this problem? -1. And the slope, -1/3. Okay, so that's how I'm going to start my problem. Then I notice that it's dashed. So I have two options. I have this. Okay, now here's my big question. If I were to test 0, 0 right there, would it be true or false? False, because there's no shading. So what I'm going to do is plug in 0, 0 into both of these and see which one gives me false. Or maybe not. I'm going to forget to do it in the second one and just write y instead. Man, I made it almost the whole thing without needing whiteout. Almost. So it's got to be this one because that one gave me false. Okay, I'm done with that. Grab your quiz review, please. Oh, I have a joke for you. It says, Billy has 32 pieces of bacon. He eats 28. What does he have now? Happiness. Billy has happiness. He might also have a stomachache. Okay. That's my life. Okay, now, let's read this together. The quiz is on the block day. You guys don't have this back on Wednesday, so clearly it's on Thursday. Okay. 4 problems. Solving and graphing a one variable inequality on a number line. We did one of those on the warm-up today. So you pretend it's equal, you solve, put it, the open or close dot, plug in something, and then see where the arrow goes. That's the one where I'm hoping you won't forget the final answer. Solving and graphing an absolute value inequality on a number line. Those ones have 2 answers, either open or close, and you plug in something between the 2 dots. And if it's true, it's like a Baymax, and if it's false, it goes out. That's the one you guys did the digital escape on. You have a lot of those. Graphing a 2 variable inequality is what we just did today, where you graph a line and you test a point on either side and shade. No final answer required. And then writing an exponential equation given 2 points, that's where you make the table, you count the b's, you do top times the number of b's equals the bottom, divide, take the proper root, and then figure out a. You know what I'm talking about? Do you guys know where the notes are for that problem? It's in chapter 8. Let me see if I can find it for you. Okay, so here's an example, number 67. So you make your points on the table. You count the b's. You say the top times the number of b's equals the bottom. Divide, take the proper root, and that's b. And then you use the table to find a. Do you guys want me to leave that one up there? Because that's what the quiz review problems start with. Do you remember that thing? Like table? I'll just leave it there.